My name is Natasha. I work at Animation Mentor currently. I teach on the Games side program. I've taught class 4 and class 6 on the game side. I've been working in the industry since 2019 as well, and I've worked on things like Life is Strange Remaster, Life is Strange True Colors, Madden 23 and 24, Clockwork Revolution, and 6 Days of Fallujah. Today I'm here to show you how I would go about having a character toss an object within Maya. To do this, we're going to use pretty simple constraints, nothing too complicated. When you get into constraints, and if you were doing more of a complicated constraint, you'd want to constrain an object so that way you can move the wrist on the object, or the object needs to move within the wrist. That way it doesn't feel like they're cemented on to the object. For instance, like if you were picking up a box, you would want to do that so that way you could have the fingers and wrists move as they pick up the box or object. And that way, because whenever we have something cemented in animation, it doesn't look good. It feels like, you know, we literally took glue and put it on our hand and put it on the box or whatever object it is, and now it's stuck. So typically you'd want to do a more complicated constraint than that, but if you're just doing something like tossing a ball, for instance, you don't really need that, because all you're doing, especially short animation like I'm doing, all you're doing is grabbing the ball, tossing it. So we're going to do that simple constraint. When I'm doing constraints as well, a lot of the time I like to use Animbot, because Animbot's pretty great. But for this, we're going to do it simple, like you don't have Animbot in Maya, so that way everyone can do it, whether or not you pay for Animbot or not. So yeah, let's get started. For this tutorial, I made this animation of Stella tossing, well, right now she's tossing air, but we're going to put a ball inside her hands, that way she's tossing a ball. And to do this, we want to get started by putting the ball in her hand, of course, first. And we want to get the fingers wrapped around the ball. So when doing this, I think the best way to get this to look right, besides that, of course, we used a video reference. To make this, I used a video reference of somebody doing a baseball sort of throw. And I used that to get this to look the way it does. But of course, you know, I didn't do the video reference, and it's hard to zoom into the hands. So I think it's nice to have a ball if you were to do this, and look at how you would grip a ball, and how your fingers would grip around the ball, how your thumb's on one side, your other fingers are on the other. Try and get the same size ball. This might be a little smaller than the ball she's using, and her ball's more like this. But it's nice to see how your fingers would grip around, and then if you pretend to even throw it, it's nice to feel, well, the wrist and how it flings back and forward to get a ball to throw. And then how tight you would grip onto a ball to throw it. And we have to think about all these things in animation. It might seem like a lot, but you have to think about how everything works to get it to look right in a 3D character when you mimic it. So I'm going to look at my hand and how I grip this ball, and I'm going to mimic it with Stella and how she grips her ball. Now she also only has 2 fingers, so her hand's more like this. So if I were to have Stella's hand, I would do something like this. But that's a pretty nice pose. I have some space in between the fingers here. Then these are all cemented together because it's Stella. And then the thumb on the other side. So let's get started doing that. So first we're going to bring the ball to the hand. And get that ball nice and in her hand. We want it to really fit in her hand. I think that's pretty good for the palm. It's nice in her palm. Don't want it clipping too much. Be careful for too much clipping. We want it to feel like it's in it, but not clipping right through her hand like this. That's too much. And that's too much. We want it to just be in her hand. Now let's get her thumb. Put it on one side of the ball. it's nice to move the other digits. So it's not just a completely flat thumb around the ball. We want it to be more around the ball. That thumb looks pretty good. Oh, let's get it more wrapped around the ball. There. Bring out this digit. That's too much clipping. Now her thumb feels like it's really grabbing onto this ball. It'd be nice if we could have a little bit more of a curve, but we don't want too much. There we go. Not too much clipping, just enough clip where it feels like she's grabbing it and not clipping. Okay, now her other two fingers. So let's start with this one. A little bit of bend to the first digit, your pointer finger. Bring it in. Rotate it a bit. That finger really nicely on the ball. Now her second finger. Just have a little space like I did when I was looking at my ball and my fingers. And now she looks like she has a pretty good grip on that ball. She looks like she's really grabbing it. The hand pose is nice. She's ready to throw it. Okay. Now that I've got a good grip on the ball, next we want to constrain the ball to her hand. So that way when she moves it, it follows the hand and doesn't just break off like that. So to make a simple constraint, what we want to do is we want to do a simple parent-child constraint. To do that, we're going to grab her wrist, which will be the parent, and the ball, which will be the child. Oops, that's her waist. The ball that will be the child. So the wrist is the parent because we want the ball to follow the wrist and not the wrist to follow the ball. If the wrist were to follow the ball, since the ball has no animation on it, the wrist would stay in the same spot and it would break the animation. But since I already have animation on the arm, we want the ball to follow the wrist, and that will allow the ball to follow the wrist through the whole animation. And to make a simple parent-child constraint, we want to come up here, make sure animation's on, and then go to constrain, parent. Now, when we play this animation, the ball should follow the wrist the whole time. So now she's holding on to the ball the whole time, but she's not tossing it right now. She's just holding on to it the whole time. So we want to fix that. And to fix that, it's pretty simple. We go through the animation, we decide where she would be letting go of this ball. Right here feels like it's right before she lets go. Here it feels like it's follow through. She's already let go, and her hand's just coming through. So I feel like she would let go of the ball right here. So let's grab the ball controller, put a key on 26, then a key on 27. You want to come to the channels here now, and there's something called Blend Parent 1 in the channels. So for Blend Parent, 1 means it's on and 0 means it's off. So for 26, we want it on because it's still going to be constrained to her hand throughout this. And then at 27, we want her to let go. So we're going to switch it to 0. Now, when you watch the animation, she lets go of the ball at 26. And it only follows her through 26, and she lets go of it at 27. But right now, the ball just stays there in midair. So we want the ball to actually have some animation on it, so she tosses it. So at 27, we're going to go a couple frames, like at 30. And I'm going to have the ball come right out of the screen. Go right out of the screen. And now, feels like she's actually tossing the ball. I think it feels pretty good. Just tossing it pretty fast. I think it feels nice. Maybe just a little closer. Or do you bring it a little closer? Let's see. That's a little better. Now we get 2 frames. So it's not quite as fast. So I think that feels pretty good. Feels like she's really tossing that ball now. So now we're gonna make her poses feel, her silhouette, her hand silhouette feel better with the ball, because I didn't pose it really with the ball before, so it looks a little, some of her silhouettes are a little funny like this one. And this one also, it looks like her thumb's not even on the ball. And then we're going to, oh wait, I also have to fix, so I have to fix the fingers, that way she's actually gripping the ball the whole time. And the hand silhouette in general, anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to grab all her finger digits here. I'm going to go ahead and copy, and then I'm going to paste on each of my main frames where I feel like she'd be gripping the ball. And that's about till 26. Because at 27 she lets go. So now she is gripping the ball the whole time. And I think I see a little bit motion trail cleanup we could also do on her wrist, but we'll do that last. So now we're gonna make her silhouette of her hand feel better on the whole thing. So let's grab her wrist. I think 1 feels pretty good here. Let's go to 6. And if we turn the ball like this, we get a really nice silhouette of those fingers and the ball. Right there. Then as she 12, get a really nice silhouette again of her fingers and ball right there. At 16 as well. At this point I think she would turn her wrist this way. Got a really nice silhouette of the fingers. 19 as well. There we go. 24 is pretty close, but fix it a bit. Make it even nicer. Push it back a bit. The wrist back, because when we're tossing a ball, our wrist really goes back before we toss it. And then as she comes to 27, where she throws it, her wrist would pop forward. So let's move the ball a bit. Have that wrist pop forward for tossing the ball. So now I think her wrist feels pretty good. Feels like she's really tossing the ball. And last but not least, we want to do some motion trail cleanup. So let's go to her wrist and clean up the motion trails a bit. And I can see some places we could clean it up and make it look nicer. Right here. That motion trail a bit. She comes up over here. Butt her wrist up a bit so she doesn't go so low. Bring forward this arm a bit. I feel like the spacing gets a little big here. Then right here she tosses the ball. Her wrist would be more like this because we've tossed the ball. see what that looks like now. I think that's feeling pretty good. Might be a little bit I could clean up more in her wrist. And the end still feels a little floaty, but I think that feels pretty good for the purpose of this tutorial and showing how I would go about tossing a ball. Cleaning up some motion trails. If you would like to learn more about this, I would definitely take classes 3, 4, and 5, and 6 on either the game side or feature side, advanced body mechanics, and then either feature or game. We do a lot of constraints in all of them, and you can learn more about how you would go about tossing an object and doing this for yourself, and learn more about animation. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks!